Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is your weekly TNA Impact Wrestling review. I'm your host, LK from KocoSports.net. In the comments, please, live listeners, do you give this show a win? Do you give this show a loss? Or do you give this show a tie? We are just over 1 week away from Bound for Glory. It's next Sunday, 8 days away as of live right now. I'm going to give this episode of Impact Wrestling, I'm going to give it a win. I'm going to give it a win. If I give Raw a tie, and SmackDown a tie, and Ring of Honor a win, Lucha Underground a win, I have to give Impact a win. Okay, this was up there in the best wrestling shows of the week. I've got about 6 pages of notes to get through. So again, live commenters, please put in the comments. I will get to them as we are progressing live on this show every few minutes, and just to break them down in between so we don't get all just strictly review, as I will get to them live. But this week's edition of Impact started off with a match, straight in there. No fucking promos. Obviously, we had a backstage. It's not a backstage, sorry. A video package repacking what happened last week on Impact. But you guys already know and already heard my review on that. And if you haven't, please check it out before you watch this and watch in a series. We start off with an Impact Grand Championship Tournament semi-final match of Drew Galloway versus Eddie Edwards. What a way to start off Impact. Like, Johnny, what a great way to start off Impact. You have the high-flying Eddie Edwards versus the brawling style of Galloway, and it's just a great, really good match. And the way this Impact Grand Championship works, there is 3 3-minute rounds. There is judges of each round. There'll be judges, and they judge. And then obviously if it gets to the time limit, then the judges are the ones who make the final decision, depending on how many rounds won. One question off the bat here is, who the freaking hell are these judges? I would like it if these judges were people of importance, maybe former wrestlers, maybe former world champions, just anyone. Anyone, I don't care who, just somebody, so that I can just see it just feels a bit more real. Because if you just see a few jobbers like just sitting a ringside and just thinking, okay, they're taking notes, okay, but do these people know wrestling? If so, does that make it better or does that make it worse? I'm not particularly sure. It really does confuse me. The first round, Edwards hits a suicide dive, but Drew catches him in midair and hits a tilt-the-world backbreaker onto the apron, which is very nice. Galloway wins round 1. Galloway hits a belly-to-belly off the top. Edwards dives to the floor. Eddie Edwards wins the second round. We go to our third and final round. There's some awesome counter-to-counter wrestling here. They exchange some vicious chops that you could just hear really, really loudly in the impact zone. And they just exchange signature. Both men are just completely exhausted, even though it's 9 minutes. And that's one thing I do like about these 9 minutes is it's 9 minutes of action-packed wrestling, not slow. Okay, we're going to slow it down because we want to drag it out to be a bit longer. And then basically Edwards falls into a Future Shock DDT for Drew Galloway to get the win, and he wins by decision. Because basically there's a really awesome moment at the end where Galloway has him pinned, and as he has him pinned, the referee goes 1, 2, but the bell rings because of obviously the time limit expired in the third and final round, which means you had suspense, and they went to a commercial break. When they came back, they announced the winner, which was Drew Galloway, because obviously we're going to go Drew Galloway versus Aaron Rex at Bound for Glory, which I'm a big fan of. But it was just an okay match. I really was impressed. Galloway won by decision, and this is one of the times where I like the format. Because before, if this got given 15 minutes, which, awesome, Drew Galloway, Eddie Edwards would be good for 15 minutes. But it's not, okay, it's not like, okay, go out there, have a 9-minute match, but have that middle part, the heel heat, the slow part. The round system kind of removes that from the match structure itself, which I'm a fan of. So this was one dull, like, imagine these two men going out there and just having just ball-to-the-wall wrestling, but it wasn't, like a spot fest where they didn't sell. That's one thing I liked about this. They still sold, like, they sold, like, they were tired, they were exhausted, they'll do anything for the Impact Grand Championship because it means a lot to be the first, and I think that's a really big deal. I did enjoy it quite a bit. And then after the match, Galloway says EC3 should ask management if he could get his match, him being Galloway, on last at Bound for Glory, as they won't be able to follow his match. And that the management is rigged. EC3 comes out. Galloway says EC3 will lose to Lashley, and he will give him a Impact Grand title match sometime down the line. Lashley comes out as Galloway leaves. Bennett then from behind attacks EC3, 2-on-1 beatdown until Moose comes out to make the save. Then Bennett hits a super kick, Lashley hits a spear on Moose, as we now announce and we know the main event is going to be Lashley and Bennett versus Moose and EC3. That's smart because obviously you're combining two feuds, and two of the higher profile feuds. You have Lashley and EC3 in a feud. You have Bennett and Moose in a feud. You can buy them, you make a tag team match. And also, it's not just, hey, look, we'll throw it together, a tag team match. There's some history of all four men intertwining somewhere down the line. I was a big fan of that. Backstage, you have Maria telling Ali that she's having a public workout. That's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with Ali, and I hope they don't screw this up, because they've got a good opportunity here to make a star. And it's going to be a weird one, how it's going to work. I don't know if they've maybe missed the time and missed the opportunity to do it. Maybe Bound for Glory would be a great time to do it, just have her completely turn and snap and just attack Maria Kanellis. I think that would be really fucking awesome. The crowd are really behind her in Orlando. Again, this Bound for Glory will be taking place on Orlando, so hopefully it's the same set of people, even though these people aren't paying to get in. That's one of the things that I don't like about this show, and that really set down for me on the scale, is that these customers, and that being the audience, they're not paying customers. They did pay to have the right to go to Universal Studio, but it came with the package of the Universal Studio experience. So some of those people in that building, they are not hardcore wrestling fans. Okay? They don't know, the TNA roster very well. And that upsets me a lot, because, I want to be emotionally connected, and that the way that is if there's, fans really cheering them on. But what can you do about it? There's nothing they can do about it. They tried doing that. They tried getting, and for a while, when they went on the road in 2012, 2013, it was really well successful. I think they were drawing big crowds in big. I remember at one time there was a big billboard in the arena. It looked like a Raw and SmackDown arena, or at least a WWE house show event or a live event, whatever the fuck want to be called right now. But I was just happy that they were doing that, and then they kept back to the Impact Zone, because the Spike TV deal didn't really help. But I enjoyed the opening segment, and I enjoyed this Maria stuff. We have a video package hyping the Aaron Rex versus Eli Drake. I'm a big fan of Drake. And what I liked about this video package, it made this feel like a legit fight, a legit sporting event. That was one of the things I liked about this. And I was really concerned heading into this tournament that I wouldn't like it. I really was. I generally think I would have hated this, but I didn't hate it, and that makes me very happy. We have a backstage segment where Bennett tries to basically kiss ass to Lashley, say, look, we're best friends. And Lashley's like, we're not friends. And get your eyes off my world title, pretty much humiliating Mike Bennett. As we move on, Impact Grand Championship Tournament, second semi-final of the evening, we have Aaron Rex, formerly of Damien Sandow versus Eli Drake. I like that. I might be the only man in the world, but I'm a fan of Eli Drake. Okay, he looks like a star. I love his promo. Dummy, yeah. Like, I find that fucking hysterical. I find him funny. I find him entertaining. I think his in-ring ability is not too shabby. I mean, he's not the best worker in the world, but I've fucking seen worse. Jesus, I have. And I think we could go somewhere, maybe a bit more experience. I don't know much about the guy, but from what I've seen, I enjoyed it. And before the match, speaking of on the mic, there was a nice promo battle. They were calling each other basically babies and dummies. And then basically Rex says to Drake, yeah, he has too much baby oil and is wearing men's volleyball knee pads. I mean, it was good promos, two good promos, having like a kind of like a disrespectful war to try and get you a bit more excited for the match. Like, oh yeah, now I want to see these guys beat each other up. And Pope on commentary, who by the way is one of the worst wrestling commentators I've ever seen in my life, second to worst, because the worst is Josh Matthews. Fucking dickhead. If hating that man is wrong, I never want to be right. The guy is a sack of shit. Anyway. And Joey Styles, I think Josh Matthews, to my knowledge, I think Josh Matthews runs the social media team. I generally think Josh Matthews runs the social media. So he runs the website, he runs the YouTube, he runs all of this shit. One of the things he put, Joey Styles on Twitter today, Joey Styles put, would he work for TNA? And he put, so no, he would work on the consulting aspect of it for the abysmal website, the YouTube and the social media aspect of the company. That I thought was, at any time someone takes a shot at Josh Matthews on social media, you get a thumbs up from this man. And me on social media is at LK Wrestling on Twitter, Facebook, LK KocoSports. Anyway, back to the match. Promo war was pretty good, and Pope, to his credit, said, look, that doesn't count towards the judging system. Okay, the judges won't be basing that promo on the match, which I think was good just to clear it up. Rex in this match in the opening round hit a double A spine bust, but as he did, it would look like he went for a vertical atomic drop where, you bump. Well, you don't really bump, you just squat on their dick. He went for it, but Drake bumped, and it looked absolutely horrible because Drake just landed really hard on his knee. Rex did win out round 1. Drake hit a really nice neck breaker, and Eli Drake wins round 2. One thing I do not like about when the heels win the round, and the way these rounds work is once the round's over, the bell rings, and then the referee separates them. Okay, in MMA, they're both, human. They're not babyface, they're not heels, so they just separate. In a wrestling ring, if a heel is on top of a babyface and pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding, the bell rings, the referee. If I'm Eli Drake and I'm on top of Aaron Rex, I'm pounding him and I'm a heel, I'm pounding and pounding. And to get heat heading into the third round, just keep hitting him. Just keep hitting and hitting him. The bell's ringing, they're ringing and ringing and ringing. Hit. Referee then gets involved going, look, break it up by 5 or I will disqualify you. Unbelievable. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Drake gets off. Raises his hand, yeah, I'm the fucking man. I'm Eli Drake. Simple, heel heat. And then in the third round, Rex hits a running, rolling forearm. They call it the Revelator. The Revelator from out of nowhere. From Rex to get the win. Drake looked good to me. I'm a fan of this guy. I mean, if you're not, I don't blame you. I like the guy. It's an okay match. The semi-finals were a lot better than the quarterfinals, that's for damn sure. And now, obviously, we know for a fact we have Aaron Rex versus Drew Galloway at Bound for Glory. They've built this pretty well. And I like how the semis are not on the go-home show. I don't know if anyone's picked up on this, but usually with tournaments in wrestling, they have on the go-home show the semi-finals, so that the final, you're like, the only way you can watch the final is if you pay for it on either the network or if it's Ring of Honor pay-per-view, etc., etc., etc. With this, they're like, no, next week we're going to build up to this, and I like that a lot. We have backstage, we have Decay. They cut a promo hyping the Great War at Bound for Glory, and then Vingard 1 comes in, and as he comes in, as Abyss sees him in the air, and then Vingard 1 comes down and floats a picture up of Signor Benjamin that, as he twists the spade, it says delete. I thought that was very funny. I really am a big fan of this. I thought I'd hate it. I really did think, as I wouldn't say a wrestling purist, but I'm a big fan of the aspect of the professional wrestling, in the ring and telling a story in the ring, babyface, one heel, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually a big fan of this Decay versus the Hardys, and I'm actually one of the reasons why I'm excited for Bound for Glory is this Great War. I mean, Bound for Glory as a whole, just to really distance myself from the review here, Bound for Glory itself, I think, is shaping up to be one heck of a wrestling pay-per-view. I'm excited for a legitimate world title match between two legit wrestlers, a badass in Lashley, a badass in EC3, two men that if I saw in the streets, I would not fuck with them. Would you? I wouldn't. You'd be a madman. Two machines. Okay, so you got Lashley EC3, you got Moose Mike Bennett, you got the Great War. Here's a decent, you got Gail Kim versus Maria, which, even though it won't be a good wrestling match, has an ability to tell a great story. I could be sports entertained, and I'm just curious to see where they go. Then in the parking lot, we have Drew Galloway. He tells Rex he will be the one and the first grand champion. Rex says he will be the one. You will be the one. In the hospital. I like that. Simple, but, I liked how he wasn't aggressive. There's no punching, no pull-apart brawl in the parking lot. They're just civil because they know next week you want to see them explode heading into Bound for Glory. As I turn the page. Then we have a Cody Rhodes vignette. Okay, this is very interesting. He's in a suit, getting into a sports car where he proclaims his road is bound for glory. Also, he's called Cody, just Cody. Great signing from TNA. Obviously, they got... his wife Eden as well. I don't know what she's called. I don't give a fuck what her name is. Apologies. I should really know that, but I don't care. Eden Stars from WWE, and I think she's going Eden Runnels now. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should have done my homework there, but good signing. We're moving forward in a good direction here. I think Cody Rhodes was a great signing. Aaron Rex, I think, was a great signing. Mike Bennett was a great signing. Got a decent damn roster here. We're building from, this time last year to now. I think we're really building foundations for a great roster. You got Cody Rhodes, Aaron Rex, Moose, EC3, Mike Bennett, Lashley. I think we got a damn good little roster going on here, and I'm happy for the signing. And what do you think about the Cody Rhodes coming to Impact? And he will be making his debut at Bound for Glory. Right, let's see if we have any live comments. Not a lot of people watching live right now, and maybe this will be a heavy show on the VOD kind of on demand, and there is no live comments this moment in time. I don't know why there isn't any live comments. That's really strange, but right now not many people have been doing. I haven't tweeted this one out. Really strange, and not a lot of live listeners, but hey ho. Decade then they come to the ring. I like how the lights pretty much go out for this promo. They hype the Great War upcoming at Bound for Glory. Matt Hardy then appears. He's in the middle with the fans, and he says the world is their battlefield, and he will delete their tag team title reign. Jeff Hardy's also in the crowd at the other side. He proclaims he is now broken, and I really am a fan of his eyes. Like, his eyes, they're all completely white. It looks so fucking scary. Really good contacts. Really creepy. And he cuts this creepy promo to help, saying that you'll fade away and classify yourself as obsolete. Lights go out. Abyss and Steve are then tied to the buckles. Rabbi Steak then beats on Rosemary. Rebby then beats on Rosemary. Rebby tells her next week Rosemary's mother will be the only one without a baby. I like how personal this is. It's great. I'm actually excited to see a Rebby Sky match. That's how good this is. When I'm excited for a Rebby Sky match, something great must be going on. Same as Maria. Like, her on this show, if you called her a great wrestler, I'd call you a liar, because she's not. But what they do well is they're not the best wrestlers, but they tell a great damn story. And on a show like this, on a weekly episodic program, I want to be just emotionally attached to all of the characters. I want to care about each and every single one of you, from the on-air personalities to the wrestlers to the commentators. I want to care about you. And I think Impact do a great job on this. I care about nearly the entire roster. Everyone's different. Everyone has different aspects. Everyone's involved in their own little rivalries, and it feels like a TV show. I'm a big fan of that. Backstage, you have Moose with EC3. They kind of hype each other up for their tag team main event. I kind of like that. I love this backstage feel. And it's not like WWE where they're always in fucking Stephanie McMahon's office or in an awkward interview area. It's really all around the building, like the parking lot, like different locations, not just always in the ring or a backstage interview area. Sorry, I got a really tickly cough. If I keep taking drinks, I do apologize. Very unprofessional. Then we have Next Division Championship match. You have DJZ defending against Trevor Lee. And it's been 3 weeks now since we've seen the X Division champion. In fact, it's been nearly 3 weeks since we've seen an X Division match, which is very, very concerning. DJ, though, cuts a promo saying this time, as a champion, he's more mature and that he wants to be a fighting champion. Out comes Trevor Lee from the Helms dynasty. I'm guessing they're still carrying that on, but Shane Helms wasn't with him. The match is okay. DJZ hit a running flip to the floor. Superpower can run off the top and a rolling into a DDT. What was it? A ZDT, whatever the fuck he wants to call it, or DZT to get the one, whatever. Everett then attacks him after the match, as well as Trevor Lee. So it's 2-on-1 situation. Eddie Edwards comes out to make the save. As he does, he then cuts a promo asking for a title match next week. DJZ accepts. So again, we're continuing doing something that WWE doesn't like doing. We're promoting a future championship match. And I think SmackDown does well of the promoting aspect. I think, well, they didn't do a good job this week of promoting Ambrose and Cena at all. Really poor job. But I like how they're promoting next week. It's always next week, pay-per-view, next week, pay-per-view, next week, pay-per-view. I really am a fan of that. Then we have backstage, we have Ali. She tells Maria she has found her perfect opponent, and then Maria just kind of degrades her and makes her feel like a worthless piece of shit. So Maria then, she comes out and says loud Ali chants. Maria then cuts a promo, but as she does, she keeps getting seriously annoyed and agitated with the Ali chants, which is just clearly a great setup for the Ali babyface turn on Maria, and the pop that this young lady is going to get is going to be breathtakingly brilliant, and I cannot wait to come on here and put that over. Ali then picked a bone as some random woman comes out. Maria hits a double axe handle to the gut, not to the head, so Matt just literally like that, like a baseball or cricket, what the fuck can we call it? Gets the win. It's so bad. Awful wrestler. As great of an entertainer she is, as great of a character she is, as great as a sports entertainer she is one fucking awful pro wrestler in that ring. Another wrestler comes out. Is someone dressed all in black. She's kind of like a ninja. We'll call her a ninja. Okay, Maria. Basically, I think this may sound really weird coming from a male, but as a male who has a girlfriend, if I was sat there and my girlfriend was sat next to me, just say we're watching on the laptop right now, and she was watching, and I was watching Impact, and Maria was on the TV screen, would you feel uncomfortable watching Maria with your girlfriend sat next to you? I personally would. Generally would. I'd feel, with what she's wearing, with those pants, I would feel uncomfortable. Like, seriously, I mean, she's hot, we know that, but why does she have to, like, show everything? Like, she's pretty much going out there naked. Fucking, does this get any nerdier? We're fucking complaining that she's wearing no clothes. Jesus Christ. I hope you men out there who are single masturbated to that, and masturbated very hard, and jacked off and ejaculated everywhere. Moving on from this awkward topic. So the ninja, turns out, she unmasks, is Gail Kim. Gail Kim hits the she goes to hit the Eat Defeat, but Sienna attacks her. Kim Eat defeats Sienna. Maria then runs away, and this is one of my complaints. Even though we're doing a great job of building to Ali, we're doing a great job of building to Bound for Glory, and I'm looking forward to Maria and Gail Kim, just because I want to see Gail Kim get her hands on Maria that bad. Sienna, whatever the fuck her name is, she's been lost in the shuffle, and she debuted as a monster. She's now nothing, because she's just been beaten by Gail Kim every week, and that's not her fault. We go to the main event. We have Mike Bennett, Bobby Lashley, your world champ, versus Moose and EC3. Bennett at the start just leaves Lashley on his own before the bell, so it's a 2-on-1 beatdown, but after we come back from the break, Bennett's kind of back up on the apron with Lashley again. Moose gets the hot tag, he clears house, spot. EC3 rolls up Bennett to get the win. Bennett can afford the loss. Out of the 4 men involved, I think it's smart, logical writing that Bennett's the one who takes the fall. You can't have Lashley lose. You can't have Moose lose because he's piping hot at the minute. And you can't have EC3 lose heading into the pay-per-view next Sunday, so it makes sense. Moose and Bennett brawl to the back. Lashley beats on EC3, but then EC3 turns it around. They start brawling. Security comes out. They then beat the shit out of the security. The crowd are going pretty wild at the minute. Billy Corgan comes out as well as the wrestlers to separate them. When I mean wrestlers, I mean the X Division. Billy Corgan comes out and says, next week is Lethal Lockdown. Team EC3, Team Lashley, winner decides the stipulation. Now, if that was Monday Night Raw, I'd say, okay, that's cool. You know, but I wonder what the teams are going to be. They would have announced the teams on fucking WWE.com. That's what they do. What I like about Impact is next week, I know I get to have the pleasure of watching these people find their teammates, because I know with Impact, they're very much heavy on their backstage segments. They're heavy storytellers. They care about the story a lot, and I like that, because in the end of the day, when I watch a weekly episodic program, I want to be entertained. I want to have a great story. When I watch wrestling, I want to watch great wrestling. Okay, when I watch Impact, it's with the mentality of, okay, I'm going to get a bit of good wrestling in there, but the mentality is I want them to blow me away with their storytelling. I want them to tell a great story in this show, not just in the ring, but in the parking lot, in the backstage area, in the ring, in the crowd, you know, anywhere, you know, in fucking Matt Hardy's family home. Just tell a great story. I think Impact do a great job on that, and it's a very underrated promotion. And people who hate it right now, I don't know, maybe it's not your cup of tea, but for me personally, as a fan, if you're a fan of Lucha Underground, I think you'd be a fan of Impact, even though Lucha Underground's wrestling, I think, is a bit better than Impact's, but I classify Lucha Underground and TNA very similar. We have no live comments for that's probably one of the first times in my KocoSports career. We have no live comments. That's really strange for a TNA review, which people pipe on for. I want a TNA review. I want a TNA review. Maybe it's because I'm talking positively about the company. People don't like the aspect. I'm talking positively about it. Maybe it's strange, but like I said, I call it as I see it. If I don't like the show, I'm going to bury it. And trust me, I would have no fucking regret burying this company. I have in the past. I've buried this company many times. But when I see effort, when I see great stories, when I'm hyped for a pay-per-view, which is still 8 days away as of this recording, I think they do a great job, and a deserved round of applause for Impact. They're moving in the right direction. So jump on board while you can. I'm happy Impact this week drew 377,000 viewers, up from 327 of last week. That's a 50,000 jump. I like that. Keep that growing, because what I didn't like about this week's rating was SmackDown kicked Raw's ass. They wiped the floor of Raw, but SmackDown was lower than Raw. I wish that the better product outdrew the worst product. So the better Impact becomes, the better the rating becomes. And you just got to try to, find the groove and get your momentum going. And I feel they have that heading into Bound for Glory. Obviously, with the change of Billy Corgan up to the main guy of the company, I think that does help a lot. And it kind of feels different. It feels kind of more important. Like I must watch every week. It's been a while since I missed an episode of Impact, and I am enjoying the product a lot more. Anyway, that's LK from KocoSports waffling on about TNA Impact Wrestling for a long time. I'm about to kick my ass to sleep because I've got a few long nights ahead of me. I've got Clash of Champions review tomorrow with Sammy. I've got a Raw review the next night, and then I've got SmackDown review the next night, NXT and Lucha the night after, and it all comes back together for TNA Impact Wrestling. In between, I've got to finish watching PWG. I've generally got to finish watching that. I might do that tomorrow in the afternoon. I've got to finish watching PWG 13. Review that sometime during next week. So you guys have also another review. Got to watch Ring of Honor again next week. Got a pay-per-view Ring of Honor next week. The week after that is Bound for Glory. Week after that you got No Mercy. It's just the ongoing saga of professional wrestling. And please join us with the ride by hitting that subscribe button, hitting the like button, dropping a comment on what you thought of TNA Impact Wrestling, and are you looking forward to Bound for Glory? From LK and the staff at KocoSports, please stay safe, please stay well, and I'll be damn sure catching your asses down the line.